For 2 years, the legislative landscape for artificial intelligence followed a predictable pattern. Tech companies often provided the templates for their own oversight, ensuring that state-level regulations remained manageable for their business models. Central to this strategy is the embedded services carve-out. Most AI tools are built directly into platforms, like chatbots and social feeds. Lobbyists argue rules should apply only to dedicated AI, deflecting new rules while the platform operates normally. The strategy relied on a divided political landscape. The assumption was that Republican and Democratic statehouses would focus on different risks, failing to coordinate, leaving a loophole large enough for platforms to navigate without changing core software. Jason Anavitarte is the Republican Senate Majority Leader in Georgia. He won his first election at age 19 and has spent his career navigating the mechanics of a deep-led statehouse. When Anavitarte drafted Senate Bill 540, he didn't use the industry's legislative template. It required explicit disclosures for minors, mandatory age verification, and suicide prevention protocols. During the committee phase, platform lobbyists fought to reinsert the embedded services carve-out. They offered specific amendment language that would have exempted the AI tools hidden inside their largest social media and search products. Anavitarte faced a choice common to leadership. He could accept the lobby's compromise and pass a standard industry-approved bill, or he could spend his political capital to force a more restrictive law through his caucus. Anavitarte chose to push forward. He used his position to kill the industry amendment and insisted on a law that treated all conversational AI the same way. This established the no carve-out doctrine. It means the law applies to the AI service itself, regardless of whether it's a standalone app or a feature buried deep inside a social media platform. But Georgia is not an isolated case. In other states, lawmakers are challenging the tech lobby by moving the fight away from abstract policy and into the specifics of their previous careers. While Anavitarte used political seniority to secure his bill, these lawmakers use professional credentials to attack the technology from angles the industry hasn't encountered before. In California, State Senator Steve Padilla represents a border district near San Diego. Before entering politics, he spent 13 long years working as a police detective, handling domestic violence and child abuse cases. Padilla approached AI safety like a criminal investigation. He built a massive evidentiary record that included the court filings from the wrongful death suit of Adam Rain, a teenager who disclosed his intent to harm himself to a chatbot in the difficult weeks just before his death. After passing a disclosure law, Padilla introduced Senate Bill 867. It's a total moratorium on manufacturing or selling toys with generative AI chatbots intended for children under 12. It's a different approach than Georgia's. Rather than regulating the software stack for everyone, Padilla used his extensive experience with child safety cases to argue for a complete ban on a specific product class. This detective's mindset changed the debate. Lobbyists struggle to argue for innovation when faced with a fully documented record of harm and the developmental research on exactly how children personify their toys. Colorado Representative Gretchen Rydin is in her first term, but she is also a licensed clinical social worker and addictions counselor. She has spent years watching AI tools enter the clinical field. When industry reps argue that legislators don't understand how these tools work, Rydin's resume makes that defense difficult to sustain in a committee hearing. She drew a clinical line in her bill. AI is legally restricted to administrative support and paperwork, while the human professional retains absolute legal responsibility for all therapeutic decisions and client interactions. This legislative trend is growing fast. Rydin is the third clinician in 12 months to carry a bill just like this. These professional backgrounds are becoming a consistent factor in moving restrictive AI language through state subcommittees. In Georgia, Anavitarte's refusal to compromise led to a rare result. SB 540 passed the Senate with a unanimous 54-0 vote. Governor Brian Kemp signed the bill into law last Monday, marking the first time a state has successfully removed the embedded services carve-out. On the same day, the specialized bills in California and Colorado were moving through their final stages. Rydin's clinical boundary bill is now on Governor Jared Polis's desk awaiting signature. These victories happened across 3 different states with 3 different political priorities, challenging the industry assumption that states would remain too fractured to enact meaningful rules. The landscape for tech platforms is shifting. They are now facing a combination of universal inclusion in Georgia, product-specific bans in California, and strict professional boundaries in Colorado. These states are building a regulatory architecture that didn't exist a year ago. As federal agencies prepare for their own compliance deadlines, they are finding a tested set of templates operating at the state level. The success of these bills suggests that the debate has moved. When lawmakers use their professional expertise to set specific boundaries, they are finding a bipartisan path that industry lobbying hasn't been able to block.